What is up, Grizz fam? That was a little bit pressing, but that's okay. Is what it is. We are here after a Grizzlies loss, 123-120 to the Los Angeles Lakers. And you can see we're a bit disjointed tonight. I am in a completely different setup. My camera didn't even work tonight, so we're using the Mac cam. My title is wrong. Welcome back, BC. BC didn't even play in anymore. It's been about 2 weeks since I got to watch a Grizzlies game, and I got to show up and see a little 5-on-8 action. I'm sure we'll get into that tonight, but appreciate everyone coming out and joining us. As King Meek says, hit the like button, everybody. You're here? Why not? We're all friends for the most part, unless you're wearing white and black stripes. Then we're not really friends tonight. But other than that, we have a probably short show planned for tonight. About to wrap up the season, but we're going to make sure it's a good one. Daniel's not here. I'll be your host tonight, but you always know I am never alone. And with that, I will bring in my co-host, who is the host for the Daily Grind, Mr. Luke Tino Hatmaker. Oh no, dude, we are completely disappointed tonight. Are you like in an 80s workout video night? Is that what we're doing?
This is an Ohio Lady Hoopers jersey.
Oh, hold on. I forgot the music loops. Dude, we are all over the place tonight. This guy going to be the most professional show that we ever do, clearly.
It was the most professional officiated performance, It's fine.
Yeah, we will get into the talk of the officials tonight. It's pretty crazy how the free throws were pretty close until the game was close in the fourth quarter. It's kind of
on the line.
Crazy how that happened. But, it's Lakers. It is part of their strategy to use the free throw line early and often and always much more than their opponents to get a win. But, hey, anyways, we're here tonight. We're not just going to talk about that. Luke, seriously, you look like you're doing a full 80s workout video right now. The headband, the tank top, I love it all. You have wristbands on too?
Yeah, well, see, I was ready with only 8 players. I didn't know if they were going to need me. And so I was ready if they needed a ninth guy. I could get to Memphis in 3 hours, and I can at least make some Richardson. I can
That's
make
exactly
at least
what
one
I was sort of leaning towards. It looks good though, man. It looks good. Listen, we're gonna have to have Luke to bring the energy. I am back, King Meeks. Yes, I am back again. But I was in the Colorado wilderness for basically 2 weeks, which means that I have a full goggle tan right here. My legs really work. But we are back, and this will actually be my last game of the year. Will not be making it Sunday. Unfortunately, I have a previous family event. It is a baby event, so there's no talking my way out of that, folks. But we're going to have a good time.
Reveal?
All good, all good. Anyways, Luke, that game was sort of depressing. I'm not even going to pretend like I've watched Grizzlies basketball for the last week. I've had no cell service. What's going on? Tell me what's looking like with the Grizzlies the past week.
Well, what's looked like the Grizzlies is these sort of 8 dudes that are playing their minds out. They're playing literally to the best that they are capable of playing. Like they I don't know what else we can get from these dudes that are on 10-day contracts. Like, I don't know what else. I just don't.
Nothing.
They're taking LeBron James to. I don't know what else they're supposed to do. I don't.
Hey, the game's 5-on-5 tonight. There's a chance.
Yes,
100%, right? Let's see the free throw disparity with the Lakers. I do want to ask you this because I do have a bunch of family in town. I was really only able to catch the second. Yeah. Is the free throw thing a free throw thing, or is it a fair basketball game? Tell me.
No, it's not fair. It's not fair. Okay. And you can even see it. They had a really good angle for that last not call, when you just kind of you see it from the side, and Brevin just kind of breaks it down where he's like, "Look, the knee is contact there, and they're like, they called that earlier, and it's just clearly not a fair. It's not a fairly officiated game, and even to the point where there's not even technicals going out when there should be technicals out. Like, if one of our guys did what LeBron did at the end, he would have gotten teed up and ejected, maybe. Like I can't wait to see what Jenkins says. I bet Jenkins is going to go off tonight.
I know we need the signature Daniel Jenkins presser, but I'm not going to look that up. So unfortunately, I won't have that tonight. But the one that got me was the call under the Lakers or the Grizzlies basket where LaRavia got pushed in the back by Hachimura.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't get called. And the same official that is looking right here at it then makes the foul call on, I think, maybe Goodwin or something like that. And I'm like, come on, man. It's like, and we don't get in this very often, but we are a bit of a betting show. I always like to bet. I'm in Utah, therefore I'm a little bit deprived. Daniel loves to bet, which, by the way, if you haven't been keeping up with Daniel on Twitter, he's doing the shows with Alan Bell right now. Dude is making a lot of people a lot of money. So go check all that out. I think it's at Daniel Greer. He's pretty basic, but he has a lot of good things about it. So go follow him. But
I bet on tonight's game. Did you bet?
I can't. I'm in Utah. There's no bet.
I did. I bet on Rui because I hate myself.
Yeah, I was about to say I can't root against my team. But man, I don't know about these. I will say all the stuff that's going on with betting in sports, I love that it's going around. I love betting. I hope it gets legalized here soon. When you have these professional leagues having these betting sites as sponsors, and then you see stuff like that, it just opens up a lot of cans of worms. It's dangerous. It's just dangerous. And I'm not going to make any other speculations other than it's dangerous. And it's a reason that, I look at that and I'm a lot more hesitant than I used to be on money lines.
Yes.
Over-unders.
Yep.
Anything along those lines, totals. I'm all play props now. I'll be honest, there's part of me that's pretty skeptical. But I'll have to say it was pretty gross to watch that fourth quarter. Again, I only watched mostly the second half. They're pretty gross, free throw line disparity. All that to say, I actually like to fight from the Grizz tonight. To be honest, I thought they played really well. What are your thoughts on the Grizz themselves? Obviously, the game went how the game went. Little ugly. We have thoughts on it. Grizzlies-wise. What stood out?
Well, you've been gone. Jake LaRavia has just been putting together kind of a pretty fantastic case for himself, which is real funny. Mm-hmm. It's real funny how he's doing that.
Here we go.
Because he's Nate LaRavia.
Listen, I told you guys, I'm LaRavia's biggest fan now. I love the guy.
He's playing like more of a badass than I thought that he was capable of. And that's just kind of nice to see, like I thought he was a derpy, slow white guy like myself, but he looks like he's not derpy apparently.
Well, that actually is one of the things that I have on my list. So I haven't been able to watch Grizzlies basketball, but I did catch up on highlights as soon as I got back to cell service. And the first thing I see is Jake LaRavia crossing up, I think, Isaac Okoro and hitting a fadeaway side up three. And I'm like, okay. And then I look up tonight, and what do you have tonight? Do you have 20? Gigi only want to hit 30. He finished with 28 points. So he was close to the 30-point mark again. Did we jump the gun on Jake LaRavia?
I think I did. If someone wants to prepare a big old actual crow for me on a plate, I'll eat it. I'm a man of my word. I will do it. I love crows. They're my favorite animal. I will eat it and carry that weight with me the rest of my life. Because I thought I was ready when his shot started coming and going. I was done. Like when he wasn't making threes for that little bit of time, I was just done. I didn't care. And I'll be damned if he's not playing like a complete ball player now. It's really strange because I didn't think that he would even – I didn't see him as this when we drafted him, as a guy who had multiple tools. I just saw him as a shooter. And it's really cool to see him have other parts of his game.
Well, he only has 3 rebounds tonight, which is one of the things he's been great at. One thing he's done a lot is he's found a nose for the ball. Now, part of that is every time you grab a rebound in the paint against the Lakers, it's a foul. So that's part of that. But he comes out with 6 assists tonight. He's playmaking at the end of the game there. He's taking LeBron to the rack. AD steps up, and then he's able to shoot out. It's like, what is going on with this guy?
The whole game. It was weird.
It's just crazy to see. And, it's one of those things where partially, yes, this is a bit of a revelation. Like, I'm kind of like, man, what is Jake LaRavia this? Is this what we actually have? Are we all about to eat crow just like I did with Santi when that first happened? The other part of me, I'm going to be completely honest, is like, ooh, beautiful roster spots. Opening up as Jake LaRavia plays himself into trade conversation. And I don't know, maybe I'm just afraid to get hurt. My little heart can't take believing in Jake LaRavia. But dude, I've said this pretty much every show I've done for the past month and a half, which is I had nothing but good things to say about Jake LaRavia.
Yeah.
Which at the beginning of the season, I was turning the games off when he went into the game. I mean,
yeah.
I don't even know. It's just crazy to see. But I do think Jake is making a case for himself as an NBA player. All that to say, I still just don't think it's the Grizzlies.
Yeah. We're on the same page. It's going to be with someone else. And good for him, because if he gets going to play like this, he deserves to have a moment, have a team, because this kid's fun to watch. And this kid won't see minutes next year on this team, unfortunately.
Well, and he's playing with freaking brass balls, dude. Which is like, that's the thing.
He was going to
we're Memphians.
Yeah.
That's what we love. Like, it's when you're sitting there and it's like, you're telling me this pasty little dude is going at LeBron James and
had him
and here for it and playing well. And he's crossing up Isaac Okoro, who, say what you want about Isaac Okoro, the thing he's had on his defense. And I'm sitting there like, man, he keeps playing well. So I got nothing but good things again to say about Jake LaRavia. And we do have a bunch of people blowing up the comment section. Goon's in here. We always knew Goon was going to show up and talk about how great we played since Jaron didn't play. Go ahead and get your Jaron hate in there right there. We got Austin is in here. D'Angelo, always good to see you guys. Make sure you keep filling up the comment section. We have 2 shows left. I'm going to include this one. 2 shows left. My personal last show of the season. We got balloons for Luke. It's having a bit of a trippy night over there, but
I don't know how I did that.
Keep filling up. This is what makes the show go. You guys are what keep us going. That's the reason we can show up every night when we're winning about 20-some games this year. So keep going. And make sure while you're at it to check out Streetcars of Memphis. Streetcars of Memphis is the official Grizz 901 sponsor of the Grizz comment section. Now, the comment section, we don't have a name for yet. We're still workshopping that. But one thing we don't have to workshop is Streetcars of Memphis coming in and taking care of us from regular maintenance, then all car modifications, speakers, lights, lifts, wheels. They do it all. Guess what? They are still doing a Grizz 901 special. If you want to get your oil change, just use group code Grizz 901, $55 regular oil change or $65 full synthetic oil change. That is an oil change at cost. Luke, I don't know about you. Not a big car guy. I don't do oil changes because I don't want my car to run. I'm afraid I'll break it. Streetcars of Memphis will take care of that for you, for me, for anyone at cost. Huge savings take place at Streetcars of Memphis. Check them out online at 901scm.com or call 901-323-3332 to schedule your oil change, maintenance, or customization service today. Man, King of Transition is back, baby. But seriously, keep blowing up the comment section what we're doing. And one thing I do want to bring up here, if I can get it back, is Scottie Pippen Jr.
Dude.
Taylor Ravens looked awesome. There's like no other guy we're definitely going to talk about tonight because I want to hear your thoughts on specifics with him. Yep. Scottie Pippen Jr., I've said for a while, I think put himself into a roster spot. I hope for this team, absolutely for an NBA team. What are your thoughts on Scottie?
The beautiful thing is we don't need him to, though, because he's still got another year on his 2-way. Like, we don't have to do anything because we've already got him. But I think he's maybe the second best point. I mean, clearly Derrick Rose is better, but like Derrick Rose can't stay healthy. He just can't. He can't. It's really, really hard for him to stay healthy for the majority of a full. He's just not done it, and it's been like 3 years in a row now. It's becoming the norm. Like Scottie Pippen Jr. He might be the hardest working dude on our team, like in terms of hustle. Like that dude is diving at every single ball. Like I feel like he's diving for balls that aren't even basketballs that are in the stands. The dude is just going everywhere. And it's almost like the friend that's you want to be like, bro, calm down, man. Like, thank you, but you're going to hurt yourself. And he did. Russell punched him in the head, right? Or what happened?
Yeah, he got hit in the face.
Yeah, it's just like
He's one of those dudes that when he goes down, I'm like, yeah, he actually might be hurt.
He's hurt.
He's happening.
Yep.
Austin, I'm not bringing that comment up. Just know that. But yeah, every time he goes down, it's like he actually does get hit in the face because he's all over the court. And I mean, the one thing we saw from him is defense, which is an undersized guard is pretty impressive to say the least at size. 2, he's facilitating and he's assisting. And he's doing all that. And then the one thing we've seen take place now is he's putting the ball in the hoop at volume, right? Like he's been a consistent kind of like Tyus-y type player, right? Like kind of going to be efficient, going to facilitate. He's going to put the ball in a hoop at a good like rate. But now he's doing it with volume attached. And it's like, okay, now he's showing he can do it on a bigger scale. Now that's never going to be his NBA role, right? That's never going to be what he does. At the same time, if you can do that in this minutes and you're taking this out of these minutes or making the most out of them, all of a sudden there's something for you right there, right? There's something, okay, you can get a different role on team. So I think he looks like a backup guard. I've called him mini Tyus since like his first game with us, and he's only proven me right.
Well, and think the way that I think the way Derrick Rose's contract and his two-way is, they've got a year where we can just, it's fine. We can still have D Rose on the roster and have him on the roster and just play him more. Because he will be it's clear he's the backup point guard. I mean, I think he should be.
And the other thing is with him on a two-way, it gives you the opportunity to keep playing this out, right? You get to keep playing it out next year, see if it's a flash in the pan, see if it's not. I think he's shown us plenty to say it's not a flash in the pan, right? Like I think he's looked awesome every chance he's gotten for the most part. But it gives you a chance to do that, make more peripheral moves. You can free up roster space. And then once you get to crunch time next year, if you say, hey, this is real, now you can free up roster spots for him. You can free up some space. But you're not forced to do that, and you can take care of the more pressing things in the meantime. But Skate, I feel like I come in here game after game and just like, he's impressing me. And every way he possibly can have a backup point guard. Which leads me to one other guy who I have to eat a little bit of crow on because I was pretty tired of watching it. And now I still don't think it's Memphis team. But when you're getting 17 rebounds as a point guard, Jordan Goodwin.
Oh, Jordan Goodwin, dude.
What's the deal with this guy, man?
It's so strange because you'll look at the box score and you're like, God, he shot the ball a lot. And then you're like, oh, but he got all the boards. It's cool. It's fine. He was 7 of 23 at shooting the ball. And it's like, okay, man, like, maybe don't, but I don't want to slow him down because good God, he's the only person that rebounds on our team. Like, I don't know what to do. Like he's in the top. He's rebounding like crazy the past month.
It's been insane to watch. I mean, he's just always in the mix. And it's one of those things where I feel like as Grizzlies fans, Memphians love guys like that. Yes. Love guys that play like that. At the same time, I'll be honest, I see a spot where he fits with the team and what the team needs.
You can't be a point guard and get 4 fouls. He had 4 fouls at the end of the game. You can't be doing that. It's really hard to do.
Honestly, if you're a Grizzly and you didn't foul out tonight, I'd like honestly good for you because they were looking for a way. Poor Trey James probably would double-digit rebound if he was allowed to rebound, but he wasn't. I'm gonna be a little bit petty tonight on that note.
Tom Petty?
No, Nate Petty.
Okay,
Nate Petty.
Ooh, Nate
just plain petty.
Cool.
That was pretty gross to watch that. But I do want to give props are due. He was getting double-digit rebounds as a point guard. He's in the mix. He defends really hard. And love the way he plays. I just don't see a fit. But I want to give him praise for playing really well. Same thing we're doing with Jake.
I mean, what I love about this entire situation is these are dudes that no one would have ever seen play otherwise, most likely. Goodwin got waived by Brooklyn at the trade deadline before we picked him up. Like these guys would not have been seen. And now they're getting seen and almost beating the Lakers on Friday night. It's just like, it makes me happy for these guys because Goodwin will get a job next year. People need a point guards that can rebound. Like his skill set will be utilized somewhere.
Well, a lot of these guys are playing their way, like we were saying with Jake earlier, onto an NBA roster. Same thing. Me and DG have talked about Trey Jameson a lot. It's things where I'm like, I don't know if he's going to be a good fit for the Grizz. I don't know if he fits the timeline with what he needs to do to develop. I love watching him play his way into the NBA. which is what he seems to be doing. He develops more and more every night. Honestly, they had to foul him out because he's given AD issues tonight. I said AD did have a great game. AD was a great game. But it's kind of easy. Trey Jameson's the only guy you have to go up against as a big. But Goodwin's another one, guys. Is like he's doing a lot of stuff that a lot of NBA teams will like. Very Lamar Stevens-esque. Lamar's not doing anything nuts night in and night out, but he's doing all the little things that make you want to have him on the team, right? So awesome to see that. A lot of these guys doing.
We talk about a GG shooting 50% from the field and 50% from three, over 50%.
Last thing I was going to bring up. He's on. And this was the last guy I wanted to talk to you about because I wanted to ask you really specifically. GG Jackson next year, we're going to have Ja back. Bane, Smart, Clark, Santi. I think there's a list of literally 13 guys that will be on the roster next year that didn't play tonight.
12 because Yuta Watanabe's on that list.
Yuta.
Poor Yuta.
Maybe not next year. But with GG, I've been one of those guys that's like, man, yeah, he's got it. He's got it. I'm not a GG doubter at all. I just throw him into the mix as like, hey, like we're going to start GG Jackson next year. Is ignoring a lot of things coming back. But he keeps making the case. And then we'll get to more to like just the basics of that in a minute. GG Jackson next year. What do you think? Where is he?
I think GG Jackson continues shooting 53% of his threes at volume. Luke Kennard is going to become really expendable, and you're going to have GG Jackson be the first guy off your bench because that's like Luke needs to be shooting the ball 13 times. That's what he needs to be doing, and he just won't. He wasn't, and I think GG would shoot more if we asked him to. Like he is, and I think they're going in now, man. Like every shot he took tonight, I was like, that sucker's going in. Like it was just it just looks really good coming out of his hands.
That last rainbow three he took, I was like, oh my God, that shot got altered and it still hit every part of the rim before it rattled out. I was so close to going in.
So close.
Dude, but he's not just hitting the threes. Like the moves he put on Rui at the end there, get to the bit. When he has an off season to develop all of that, man, it's just gonna be next. It's just gonna be next level. So I mean, and I love GG. I think as part of like Grizzlies fandom, I would be considered a GG doubter because I'm like, let's just cool the jets on this 19-year-old kid with all these other guys coming back and seeing him like take a spot and be like a real go-to guy next year. But the more you watch the dude play, the more it's like, man, if I was him, I'd be like, what else do I need to show you, Nate? And I'm like, I got nothing for you. It's only the fact he's 19 and he's still so raw.
Yes.
Which is, here's the beautiful part of that. He's either going to be a part next year because he's already going to be that awesome, or two, the sky is the absolute limit. If you're that good and that raw at 19, it's just unbelievable what he's doing. But I think, and that brings me back to the other part of that, which is, dude, how awesome is it just to have GG Jackson playing this year? He was not supposed to.
No, he was not supposed to. I don't think any of us. I think he might have been one of the big question marks at the beginning of the season. I mean, we were like, what is this kid? Is he, like we didn't know about the personal reasons why he fell so far in the draft. It's like, what's going on here? He wasn't supposed to get this kind of run. And I don't think he was supposed to be this good. He might make an all defensive team, or an all rookie team, pardon me. Like not defense. He might make an all rookie team. Like,
dude. Well, and first off, let me pull this up. Daniel, if you have enough time to comment on the show, you should have been on the show. Goodbye. And then, as Anthony was saying, zero reason to relax on GG. And like I said, I have zero reason to argue. I have zero reason to argue at this point. I'm like, the dude just keeps being awesome. The only thing is that thing in the back of your head where it's like, he's 19 years old. But at a certain point, it's like, it doesn't matter anymore. And I'm like being completely out over that bridge. Like I've been sort of sitting on that fence, riding that fence. Dude, I think I'm about all in on GG Jackson. And not just as an all-in on GG as a player, 100% all-in on GG as a player. 100% on GG as a contributing, like, massive contributor for this team next year.
Yes.
He keeps showing it every night.
He keeps showing that he's going to need to be a part of this, an imperative part of this rotation, like, like a piece that is needed to beat other teams, like these teams. He's going to be needed to beat the Lakers. He's going to be needed to beat the Nuggets. Like we're going to need him when we win a championship, going our way there. We're going to need his skill set, like no doubt.
Well, and then and we got a big guy, kind of sort of echoing what you said, D'Angelo, Austin, both talking about Luke getting gone. Here's the thing.
I love Luke.
Well, having a guy who can shoot the ball like that is pretty invaluable. The thing is,
2 years in a row.
You've got other guys who are not going to get played off the court. Right. And that's the thing about Luke is if he's not hitting threes, if you're face guarding him, he can't get for himself. He disappears. He just disappears in the game. Right. And you just can't have that. Right. You can't have it. And so with that, you got guys like Vince, who's not getting played off the court. Gigi, who's not getting played off the court. Like you have all these guys who are multifaceted. And if they negate that and then do everything else a little bit better, because Luke's going to be the best shooter out of all those guys. Luke's going to be the best shooter Grizzlies can possibly have as a backup wing spot.
Yes.
Undoubtedly.
No one
at the same time. At the same time, it's the only thing he does. And he's not getting those shots up. All these other guys that do everything else, it starts to matter a little bit more. So I hate to say it, but I think you're right.
I've been really disappointed with his awareness of the moment, or of the. If it was me and I was in his position, I would be like, well, someone's got to shoot the ball. Like, I just don't know. I don't know why he, yes. Like pull it, Dylan, man, go take you 18 instead of like getting to 8 and being like, I really was expecting him to, when Ja and then when Bane were both going to be out, and it was kind of, I just expected him to shoot more, and he didn't. And I don't think when it's like you're talking about, you got guys not getting played off the floor who are also good at threes. They're not as good as Luke, but they're good. Like it's such a good skill set to have. And he's second in the league this year. Like that's top 3.
Half the time I'm like, dude, just shoot it from the logo. Like don't pass it to Jordan Goodwin. Don't pass it to Timmy Allen. Just shoot it from the logo. Because
they don't need to be involved.
Well, it's a better shot than what a lot of us can get. And I do want to ask you one thing, because this is the other thing that's been coming up a lot that am very hesitant on. Dan, Gigi is going to be the C factor for the Grizzlies next season, i.e. Andrew Wiggins for the Warriors title run. I hear C factors, a couple of things. I do think that's really fitting. I also think that you wouldn't necessarily say Andrew Wiggins is the third best player for the Warriors. You got Steph, you got Clay, you got Draymond, and then probably Wiggins after that, right? A lot of people would say Wiggins is better than Draymond. Not for the Warriors, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about Gigi being the third or even second best player for the Grizzlies. I still am like, man, we got Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson. Yeah. Do you think Gigi's going to take that big of a jump? Because he's showing the potential to. Do you think that's where he lands? Do you think he's above a Dez and a Jaren?
You know, it's tough because we've seen these guys doing it consistently now, like Dez and Jaren. Like they've got bodies of work at this point, at this time, you know, whereas the thing that wants me to say yes, though, is Gigi's 19 and he's doing this. Like I couldn't do anything when I was 19. Like I couldn't do nothing. And it's really crazy to me because 19-year-olds' brains are just different, man. And like what he is, what he's able to do, it's like, I want to say, of course, Dez and Jaren are better, but then I'm like, but wait, the youths, man. He's not like, I don't know. He might
youths.
I don't know, man. I don't know what they do.
Well, they scare me. One of those things where I think we have seen Jaren dominate this year, and he has showed up for matchups that have punished him in the past. He showed up against Gobert, showed up against AD. I mean, he showed up against guys that normally have been pretty well dominating him in the past, right? Or for the most part, got better of him at least.
Yeah.
I think Jaren's still only getting better, and Jaren is young too. The other part of that is Gigi is still going to be 20 years old next year, right? Like he's still just going to be 19, 20. So there's, all I'd say, like, think about all the growth Jaren has done, turning 24, 25. Gigi still has 4 or 5 years for that. So I hesitate to say, I still think you got Ja Dez. That's almost said Ja Dez Bane. Ja Dez Jaren. next year.
When Gigi's a grown man, when he turns like 24, 25, that dude is going to be out of this world. He's going to be insane.
Yeah, I could see Gigi 100% being a multi-time All-Star
Yes.
when it's all said and done. I could 100% see him being a number 2 option on this team.
Yes,
absolutely. Number 1 option, by the way, is Ja Morant. I was on this backcountry trip in Colorado. A bunch of guys. Yeah, we went to the backcountry and like skied up mountains and stuff. It was a bunch of fun. I was the most tired I've ever been in my life. But bats? A lot of these guys live in Denver, Fort Collins areas. So they're a bunch of like Nuggets fans. I actually knew a lot about basketball, which is kind of fun for me.
Sick.
And they all asked me what everybody asks, which is, what do you think about Ja? Because what everybody asks.
Everybody asks it.
You're not a Memphis fan. And the only thing I could say to them is, I think everyone's forgotten this dude's a top 10 player in the NBA. And next year he's going to remind you. So that is everyone. Again, we're talking about this. Dude, Ja Morant, when he comes back next year, we already saw what he did this year in just an 8-game span. Just be excited. Tonight is like so commonplace this year. It can seem so hopeless. My dad's sitting there and he's like, I just don't know, man. Maybe they've lost the momentum. And I'm like, just wait until Ja Morant plays basketball again. We're going to be all right. All that to say, Ja Morant's the only one that I think you can't surpass as far as the best players on the team. Pretty dang bright future. Anyways, Gigi, anything else on him? Anything else on this game with these guys? Because, I mean, we can sing his praises all year, and it's just one of a few bright spots we've had.
I mean, these dudes are – I mean, granted, I don't think Timmy Allen and what's the other guy's name? The Jack White.
I
don't know.
Guy.
No, not the guitar guy. I don't know if those guys are long for this world. I mean, not like in real life, but like for this team. But the fact that they didn't suck, I don't know. I mean, I just think we're supposed to be. I did on my show this morning and just talked about how we were going to get our asses kicked tonight, like destroyed. That's all I talked about. I like broke it down how we were going to get beat really bad. And this is one of the most exciting games I've like of the past couple months. It was just really, it's the players that I wasn't expecting. You know, you remember David Roddy, Nate? Do you remember David Roddy?
Oh, why you do that? Why'd you say that?
Because I forgot about him. I kind of had a moment where it was like I've forgotten about him until yesterday. He was on this team.
I'll never forget him, David Roddy.
Never forget.
What's wrong with you?
We were talking about him, and now we're like, Jake's getting 30 regularly and defending everyone.
It's weird.
It's weird, man. It's real weird. Makes me feel
it's weird. And it makes me sad. You know what else is weird is old Boss Man getting in here and talking about how much he loved you.
Oh,
Boss Man's in the comment section. We can all stay in the comment section. And while you're in the comment section, we appreciate y'all hanging out tonight. Make sure you hit the like button. If you're here, a little bit of love. But regardless, seriously, appreciate everyone being here in the comment section. This has been the engine that made this show go all year long. That's just me. Yeah. There's a lot of nights where we may have rather been doing something else. But it's truly become like an entire family here in the comment section. And it's made the show worth doing. And so stick around. We're going to be right back here in a second. We're going to keep it probably a pretty short show after this. Not too much to talk about as the season starts to come to an end. But make sure you stick around. We will be back right after this little break.
What do you think is more of a priority for this team? Because you're starting to hear a lot of rumors coming out about teams that are willing to make trades. I'm a big wing guy. This is Memphis. We barbecue in Wing City. So I also understand the importance of big men. The best players in the league are all bigs.
If you're making a player in a lab, absolutely you want to build a Paul George player. You want to build the big wing, Kevin Durant, whatever. Like
Gigi Jackson.
Yeah, or Gigi Jackson, which actually I was thinking about. What about Gigi, Anthony? But unfortunately, those guys aren't out there. And like, even when you start naming specific names of guys you want to get, like the quality drop off goes down quick. I do think the Grizzlies' easiest avenue to immediately improving next year and getting on the cusp of like being, like a Western Conference finalist, or maybe if you get all the great breaks going your way, is improving your center spot. But there's just more of those guys I feel like available to help you out.
Tune in to the Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the Grizz 901 post-game show. One of 2 shows left in the season, a somewhat long season. Normally we'd be a little bit sad about this, but I'm not going to lie. I'm looking forward to putting my pod gear away for a little bit. The camera didn't even show up for the last show. The camera was like, out. I'm done. So with that, Luke, I was telling you a second ago about this backcountry trip, right? And so for anyone who doesn't know, backcountry skiing, essentially, it's what you do is you take, if you have a board, you can split into 2, or you take skis, you put something on them called skins. You put these skins on them. What they do is they let you go literally up the side of a mountain, not completely vertical, but pretty steep, locks in, and you can kind of pull up the mountain without slipping down and sliding down, right? And so it's a pretty cool little thing. And like we hiked 5.5 miles in, took us 5.5 hours. That's for you mapped out 1 mile per hour. So took us a long time, but it was still a ton of fun. Had a blast with it. And then what you do when you get to top, you have to get your setup ready, right? Like those skins can't go down the mountain. That's part of why it's set up. And what that is called when you're doing it is transition. Speaking of transitions, pews, you know pews, from flower shops to commercial landscape maintenance. Pews has been around for 30 plus years servicing the South. But did you know that Pews also does residential lawn care? Pews residential spray can take care of all your weed control and fertilization needs. If you want to get that perfect weed-free lawn, they call Pews residential spray today for a free estimate. 901-633-2118, and let them know the Grizz 901 crew sent you. And remember, with Pews, you get big company strength, small company values. King of transition, back at it for one more time this season. Luke,
that was good.
That felt A+. Was it A+?
Dude, it was like, I was so enthralled by your story too. And when you said Pews, I thought you were finger gunning me, and I was just really, it was really good. I was having a good time. And then it was just
King of transition. Daniel, take notes. One time you might actually be as good as me. But King Meeks coming with a rare, serious question. King Meeks is normally just talking about trying to wrestle Zaire out of town. But tonight, #Ask Luke, would you rather coach the Grizzlies to an NBA championship or be a good role player that helps them win?
I would rather be a good role player that helps them win.
Yeah, I think unequivocally that's the answer. I have, as someone who has played in one and coached in one, there's just nothing quite like playing and winning. It blows it out of the water. Now, I will say there is a weird satisfaction with coaching. It's kind of like, especially if you start out with not a great team that's meshing really well, and then you see them kind of click as the season goes on. That's a pretty cool satisfaction. That being said, when you're the one on the field doing it, we hear all the time players decide games.
Well, man, I think there's something awesome about like getting all this recognition, but really not having to do much. It's like the backup quarterback's the best job in the NFL. That kind of deal. If I can have one really good skill set and just hone that sucker in, like, shoot, I don't care. I'm just happy I got invited.
And it's kind of like, poor Taylor Jenkins. I've been far from saying this is a perfect Taylor Jenkins season. At the same time, when the dude draws up a wide open 3 and it gets clanked, it's kind of like, there's not much you can do. It's good coach, bad coach, right? As if that ball goes in or not. And so that part can be a little bit mind numbing. So Chris also joining in here asking what the hell
I told you Ohio Lady Hoopers, fall league, baby.
Hoopsters, by the way.
Hoopsters. I got it at an antique store.
I feel like changing hoopers to hoopsters is slightly feminine. So I think that the lady ballers does make sense. But Chris, if you weren't here at the beginning, I asked the same exact question of Luke. It looks like you're in an 80s workout video.
Wristbands.
The wristbands and everything really does it for me, man.
I was ready to play basketball.
Yeah, I pulled my hamstring a couple of weeks ago, and then I went on this trip anyways, which was maybe not the wisest. But I have been getting into the gym a little bit more than I have the past few years because we got a gym at the new apartment complex. Oh, amen. And so I am going to give Daniel Greer buckets whenever I get back to Memphis. I told him it was a promise. I intend to keep the promise. And I agree. You do look like you play for the average Joes. That's exactly what
I like dodgeball a lot. I like dodgeball. The movie and the sport. It's fun. I like them both.
The dude with the glasses that's like regulation ABC. He's like right now.
And then
full rage.
Yes.
That's exactly who you look like right now.
Wait, do you like going to the gym? You said you got a gym now. Do you like gyms? Like, do you actually like lift? Like, do you enjoy the act of it? Because I think it's one of the worst things in the world.
I go to the gym all the time. It's despite what it look like and my nerdy voice make it sound like. I actually am a bit of a gym rat. I hit the gym quite a bit. I was talking about a basketball gym specifically. We have. So that's the new part. The gym. I
thought you meant a gym. I hate gyms. Like working out gyms. Hate them.
Yeah, I used to, and then I got made fun of in high school, and my demons came out, and therefore I like to hit the gym. But that's probably not the healthiest reason in the world. Now I just try and scale look good. But I do have to ask you. You're so sweet. I thought you were just going to stop at you look good, and then you said feel good, and I realized it wasn't a compliment, but I decided to go with the compliment anyways. All right, so we got one game left in the season against the Denver Nuggets. Nothing really matter for either team, I believe. I think the Nuggets sort of have their spot secured.
Who did OKC win tonight, or did they lose? They're playing.
They won.
So yeah. All right, yeah. So then, if Denver won and them and the T-Wolves lost, Denver wouldn't be playing for anything next year. They would have clinched tonight.
Well, and honestly, it doesn't really matter that much to the Nuggets, if I had to guess. I don't think the Nuggets really care if they're playing any of Phoenix, Lakers, Sacramento, Golden State, or Orleans.
All those teams care if they're playing them, but I don't think the Nuggets care.
Well, the Nuggets, the only thing they might try and do, actually, I don't think that matters to them either, because then at that point, they're either playing the Wolves. The only team I think that they might try and not play is the Clippers. But at this point, the Clippers are locked in at 4-5, which means that they're going to play the winner of that 1-8. Right? I'm pretty sure that's how that bracket plays out. If I remember correctly, right?
If you were OKC, would you have thrown tonight's game, maybe making sure you get the 3 seed and get New Orleans in the playoffs, as opposed to whoever comes out of the play-in?
I don't think you can do that as a Thunder. Personally, if you're a young team and if you're the Nuggets and you're NBA champions, who cares?
You can play whoever you have
to play. Yeah, you play whoever you have to play. You've won it. You've been there. You are the big bad wolf. You don't worry about anything else. If you're the Thunder, you don't want to give any kind of ground. It's like, hey, we want to play. We want to be clicking. We want to be vibing as soon as we go into this. Think about, man, we're ready to rock and roll. So I think it's a little bit different. And I would say, no, you don't want to throw any games. If you're you're the Wolves, right?
I agree with you.
The other part of that is the play-in really mixes that up, right? Like the play-in makes a huge difference, because it's like you might end up playing Phoenix, or you might end up playing LA, which I've never been a big believer in the Phoenix thing. I've said it since they made the trade in the offseason. Never been a huge believer in it. That being said, you're still playing against Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal. Like, it's a little less scary, but because I said that, he'll probably be.
Grayson Allen shooting the hell out of the ball too.
As much as I would say I'd be worried if I'm LeBron and AD and having to flex on Jake LaRavia and get officiating help to beat the Grizzlies, at the same time, it's still LeBron and AD.
Yeah.
If you're the Wolves, if you're the Thunder, that's something to worry about, right?
I wouldn't want them.
But at the same time, you might end up playing Sacramento. You just don't know where you're up playing, right? And so, you kind of just got to roll with it, play it out, have you take care of what you can take care of, not worry about who you're playing.
Those teams are really volatile too. All those play-in teams, like, is Draymond going to punch somebody? Is what's going to be, is the big three in Phoenix actually going to be playing? Like, there's question marks around all those teams. Like, Sacramento's going the wrong direction because they got so many guys hurt at the wrong time. Like, it's a mess down there.
I know. The Sac thing, I looked up and I just couldn't believe they were a 9 seed. In my head, I just was like, oh, that's a top 6 team. And I was shocked. Now, lucky for them, they have no worries about getting knocked out of play-in.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no worries about that. Unfortunately for them, they got to play the team that beat them in that 9-10 game, most likely. 'Cause I have a feeling that LA is going to make sure they hold on to that 8 spot. All that to say, Denver, I don't anticipate them caring too much about this game coming up. Maybe they do. I would anticipate they don't mind being a 3 seed because they would just as soon play 2 seed going into the next round as they would the Clippers. Right? I think you want to miss the Clippers if you can. That being said, I don't think Nuggets really care who they miss. I think they can beat anyone, and by the way, they can.
I would want to miss them and Luka. I don't trust Luka. He scares me.
Maybe.
He scares me.
I think he is the second best player in the NBA, probably.
Yes.
But
yeah, I guess
that might be jumping the gun a little bit. I'll have to say, next game, to be honest, I don't really care about. I hate that I'm going to miss it because I do want to watch the last game of the year. Unfortunately, can't. But I do want to ask you, we'll get to the Grizzlies things to wrap it up. As far as this goes to the playoffs, that's going to be the basketball that's left. What are you looking forward to most out of some of these matchups in the playoffs or individual players? Just generally speaking, what are you going to be looking at in the playoffs?
You know, for all the crap the East is getting, I'm excited to watch the Magic play playoff basketball and the Knicks to play playoff basketball because I like both those teams a lot.
Yeah.
I like a lot. They've been, me and Daniel were talking, they're fun. They've been really fun to watch. And I it's nice to root for the Knicks when Randall's not being a little turd because I love Jalen Brunson. I like all those. I like Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, Isaiah Hartenstein. I like all these guys. It's and Orlando's just fun, man. Like they're fun. They're a fun team to watch. I love that they're still really good on defense. They're like, we're still going to play this way. It's going to win us games. I'm excited for new blood in the playoffs. Like it's going to be really cool.
That's what's fun about the East is a bunch of like new kind of what's going to happen type matchups. I mean, that New York Pacers matchup is going to be super interesting, right? Because the Knicks don't have all their players, but I think they got the will to beat that team, and they got Tibbs, and I think that's going to help a little bit. You know, Carl's a good coach, but same time, I think that they got Tibbs.
Man,
all that. Did you watch the Knicks Celtics game on national television a day ago? Yesterday? I think it was yesterday.
No.
Dude, I talked myself right back into Mitchell Robinson. Right back into it.
Come on.
Dude, he's an offensive. He was just a rebounding machine, just dominating the paint. And I was like, just imagine that guy playing next to John Morant. It was just awesome. I just loved it. But
you just got a taste of it and you needed it back.
Oh, I was like, oh God, I need it. Put it into my veins. But I think it'll be fun watching that team play. I think without Randall, they're gonna be just slightly undermanned against the best teams. That being said, the Celtics have proven that they are beatable, if nothing else. The Bucks seem to be very vulnerable right now, very hit or miss. The East is. There are some teams that are better than others. All those teams have the potential to falter. So it's one of those things where I would still expect Boston or Milwaukee. 100% I would still expect one of those teams to win it. Every single one of those teams has the potential to stumble. So we'll see what happens. It'll be really interesting. The one I'm looking forward to most out of the East, it's a little bit weird. I'm looking forward to that 7-8 game. I am praying it's Philly in Miami in the 7-8 play-in game.
Oh.
I was looking at Sarah, my wife, and I was sitting there and I was like, and she has no idea. She's reading the book. And I just see that pop up 7-8. They're not even talking about the Sixer seed. And just in my out loud to myself, I'm like, that game's going to be effing war. I was like, if I don't watch a single other game in the entire playoffs, I'm watching that 7-8 game. So there's still a chance that Orlando or Indy could drop down and the Sixers could jump up. I'm praying that it is 7-8 because I so badly want to see that. I want to see that game so bad.
If that's a 7-8, do you think the 9 and 10, the Hawks and the Bulls just feel awful about themselves for being the same matchup 2 years in a row? Because they suck.
Listen, I think either one of those teams is beatable. So I think if you're the Hawks or the Bulls, you still have a chance of getting in there.
Who do you hate? Who are you scared more between those two? Who would you not want to see between the Hawks or the Bulls? Because they could go on a deep run.
Oh, yeah.
I like Kobe White.
That's not a real question. Yeah,
No, it's not. It wasn't a real question.
Neither one of those. I would be, despite all this sort of misgivings I have about Boston and Milwaukee, I would be shocked if the Bulls or the Hawks were able to give them any trouble at all. I guess maybe the Hawks, question mark, just because is Trae Young playing again? This tells you how out of the NBA.
I don't think so. He's out.
Literally, I haven't seen anything in the NBA until yesterday for 2 weeks, so I don't know.
Oh, whoa! There's a rumor that he got hair plugs or something like that because he's been on the sideline with like something over his head, like a cloak.
There's another TMZ thing I don't give two shits about, but at the same time, good for him. He needs it.
He doesn't need it. His hair's awful.
Honestly, yeah, I'm not worried about that 9-10 game. I don't care about that. The 7-8 game, if the Sixers jump up and the Magic or the Pacers falter, I'm going to be so disappointed. I need that 7-8 game. So, Magic, Powell, Tyrese, Pascal, I need you guys to show up and show out for these next couple games. And those are teams that will be playing this up, right? They need to try and get into that 6 spot if they can, right? The top 6, sorry. That being said, I so want it to be Philly, Miami. That would be awesome. And then in the East, I do think I'll watch the majority of the East matchups. Just because it's interesting. Like you said, it's kind of wide open. There's teams that should win it and should be better. At the same time, you don't know for a fact it's going to happen. So I'm very interested in the East.
I'm bitter about the West. Like I'm just bitter. You know, I'm excited to watch Denver play, and I'm really excited to see this Mavericks team. I think I've always been so intrigued by what Luka would look like if he had an actual full complement of an NBA team around him. And it's just really good basketball to watch. Like at the end of the day, because he's so stinking good.
Well, and kudos to them. They found a way to make the Kyrie Luka thing work. And so I said at the beginning of the year, if the Mavs were anything other than absolute dog water, Luka should win the MVP. And I stand by that. I think Luka has put up MVP numbers. I think Luka should win the MVP. And you can say he's a 5 seed, so he's a bottom half seed for the conference. I don't care, man. That dude, that team would be the absolute dumps.
They'd be the Washington Generals. The Washington Generals. That's who they would be. The team the Globetrotters play. They would be so bad. Like it'd
be terrible. It'd be terrible. But they're not. They're in the playoffs. They've won 50 games, which is a 5 seed this year, but in the past has been much higher than a 5 seed, right? I think it's awesome, and I think that series could be really interesting. Mm-hmm. Keyword could be. It's all dependent because I think that the Clippers are pretty awesome. I think the Clippers are better than a 4 seed or typical 4 seed.
They're confusing, man, because I still don't. They were so good there, and I like a lot of pieces they have, but I also don't like James Harden really at all. And I like Paul George, and I like Kawhi. You know, that's someone who should be included in the MVP conversation too. Kawhi is playing pretty incredible. You know, like, oh God, that's going to be a good series. That's going to be good. That one's locked in, right? Is that locked in as the 4-5?
Yes, I believe it is. There may be a chance that Dallas could fall back to the 6, but I don't think it's mathematically possible. And even if it is, that's highly unlikely. But I think that series is going to be a war. I watch any series that involves Nikola Jokic. And then I am interested to see what happens with OKC and the Wolves, right? I'm very interested to see what happens there. Just because it's teams who have sort of hit stride that the Grizzlies hit the past couple of years, right? It's like the Grizzlies did it a lot faster than those teams did, but they kind of started putting it together, bringing it together. So I'm very interested to see what they're able to do that. And it's kind of fun. They have really good players like SGA, as much as I think that the hype over Ja Morant of an SGA and an Anthony Edwards is jumping the gun, to say the least.
I was going to say gross.
Really, really good, exciting young players, right? And so you want to see what they're able to do. So should be a lot of fun. New Orleans, I really care less about.
I don't care. I don't care.
If I'm being completely honest. I never believed the Phoenix thing. Everyone hates the Lakers other than people from LA. Sac, it just feels like they kind of
they lost Malik Monk and Kevin Herb both. Yeah. You can't. It's
kind of like everything went wrong at the worst possible time for them.
Yep.
So that Golden State has been kind of weirdly showing up, but then they can't seem to sustain it, it feels like. So really it's just a handful of teams. I think I'm looking forward to that 4-5 matchup. The individual things I'm looking forward to with like Ant and SGA.
Yes.
As a whole, I'm much more intrigued by the East. I think the East is going to be a lot of fun. Because I said that, the West will be more fun.
I mean, the West is going to go through Denver, and it might not be fun at all. It might just be a march to get killed by Joker, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. Like if we just want to line up for him to kill him, let's go for it.
Well, another thing is there's still a lot to be decided with only a couple days of regular season NBA action left, right? There's still a lot of moving and shaking that can happen. For the most part, everything's set, though. Again, I think that that East matchups are going to be the most fun. And more than anything, again, I want the Philly-Miami play-in game. I just want that to happen more than anything. That will be my best playoff moment, if I had to guess.
See, I think that game will be better than either of the series that those teams go to after that. Like, that game itself will be awesome. Because I don't think the 76ers are going to be like Joel's huffing and puffing. Like, he's not there yet. Miami's weird. Like, those would be weird series. But for one game, hoops, man. It's going to be some good hoops.
Should be a lot of fun. All right. Last thing to wrap it up, I do want to just ask one more thing because I think it is pertinent to what we got to go into. But before I get into that, shout out to our last sponsor, but who has been here since day one, Heaven's Healthy Kitchen. Truly, comment section, we talk about how it makes the show go, how much you guys mean to us. Truly become like family at this point. Heaven's Healthy Kitchen, Chef Smith has been in here since the very beginning. And he is dedicated to providing good, healthy alternatives to people. And he's Memphis born and raised, now based in Huntsville, Alabama. Heaven's Healthy Kitchen, for anyone who isn't an OG of the show, has been here. Grassroots business that was started right in Memphis, Tennessee. Chef Smith is a Memphian that promotes healthy eating and wellness. And if you're looking to cook at home, Chef Smith Cookbook is available on Amazon and can be downloaded today. Heaven's Healthy Kitchen also continues to do a lot of pop-ups. So I'm not sure where that is at this point. I'm not sure. I think maybe it just happened to pop up. Chef Smith, if you're in here, let us know if that just happened because I know that pop-up was an April pop-up. But make sure that no matter what, you go and check out Heaven's Healthy Kitchen at www.orderhhk.com. That is www.orderhhk.com. And they serve and cater all plant-based and vegan gourmet food straight to you. Again, if you haven't seen it, Daniel ate like 7 of these meals on the show then continued to eat them after the show at like midnight. So Chef Smith does an awesome job. OG fan of the show, OG part of this family, and has been a part of the whole shenanigan that we put together. And again, promotes really good eating. Memphian, born and raised, based in Huntsville. Make sure you go check him out. Dude is an absolute beast and provides awesome, awesome food. Seriously, Daniel gained a couple of extra pounds, and it was healthy food. Couldn't help
it. It matters what you eat, man. It matters, turns out. It matters.
It does. I had not such great food for me tonight. I had some jambalaya, and it was got back to my Cajun roots, but it was also and I've been feeling it the entire show. So shout out to King Geeks. Appreciate the love. Great job on advertising tonight. Daniel, take notes. One day you can be the king of transitions, perhaps. But last thing I want to say to wrap it up, because again, this is my personal last show. Luke, I imagine it's the last time you're coming on the post-game show, even though we'll talk a little bit more about Daily Grind here in a minute. But as Grizzlies go, Grizzlies off season, next season, trades, drafts, just getting this roster going as season starts next year. What are you most excited about from now until we start the season next year. And just seeing John Morant play basketball is a viable answer.
That's the answer, man. Like, I went back and looked at the games he played this season. I miss seeing him play. And I think he's gonna be more special when he comes back. I can't wait. That's it. I mean, I don't care about the draft. I care about Summer League. I care about the draft, but like, I want to see John Morant on a basketball court.
Yeah, I think that's probably number one, right? I mean, again, we talked about those guys this past week. I was like, he's a top 10 player in the NBA. And people have just forgotten how good he is. That's number one. I will say,
you're like a part B. I give you a part B.
Well, you can't. No, you don't have to give me a part B. I was just going to say that on top of that, like, seeing again, I was watching that Celtics Knicks game, and I'm watching Mitchell Robinson just kind of dominate the paint. Right? I'm not even sure what his stat line ended up being, but I was sitting there watching it, and I was just like, man, this roster being complete is what I want to see. Because we talked about it this year. Missing Ja, you're missing Clark, you're missing Adams, then you miss Smart, then you miss Bain, then you miss Santi, and then you miss, 13 out of 15 plays.
Jitty.
Like, Jitty's another one. Like, literally, you miss basically everybody on the team expected to play this year. We just never get to see that roster really come together, right? And as Austin Moore saying in here, good health for the whole team, right? Like, I so badly want to see the roster play out, right? I just really want to see the roster play out. And I think the center situation is going to get resolved. That draft pick is going to give them a lot of potential options. So if you want to go with the Klingon, you're going to have the option to do that, most likely.
Who the starting center is my number 2. I think I'm really excited. If that is someone we go, it's just like you said, to make the roster whole. I don't even want to see him play any. I just want to see a full team of people who are supposed to play at these basketball positions, because we've not had everybody. Adams got hurt, no center. We just don't. We're missing pieces. It sucks.
Well, and there's a lot of different options, though. I think that's what's so exciting is that the Grizzlies have options, and that draft pick, as rough as the season has been, gives them a lot of options. If you want to draft a guy like Klingon, or I've seen Chris throw this around a good bit, you want to go get a guy like Drummond. And then you draft Klingon, right? There's all kinds of options available to them. And then you got guys like Knicks probably aren't going to keep Hartenstein and Robinson. You're going to have other guys on the market if you really want to spend big on a guy like Claxton, which I think is very unlikely at this point.
Jakob Poeltl is probably going to be available for Toronto. There's big serviceable bigs.
Right. And the thing is, you need somebody who can do all that. Maybe even a Mitchell Robinson if you really want to aim big. A lot of options, and I'm very excited to see how that plays out. There's a potential they draft another kind of guy that's a bench scorer, right? There's all kinds of options available to them. So I'm very excited to see that come together, and then have a year where we can answer all these questions, right? We can answer, is Taylor Jenkins the guy for the job? Right, because as much as I think we've been pretty fair on criticizing Taylor Jenkins this year, I also think it's one of those years where it's like we can't say on Taylor Jenkins, right? You want to say he's the guy, I'd say there's some questions. If you want to say he's not the guy, I'd say he hasn't been given the shot to show that completely, right? And so there's a lot of different things available, and we get to answer a lot of these questions, and we get to contend. This is a contention roster at this point, and we get to see that come together. So I'm very excited for that, personally.
It feels, for the first time in a few years, honestly, though, that we can kind of, the pressure is off just a little bit in terms of we got to get this done really, really fast. Because I feel like the past couple of seasons, it's big things need to happen. We're missing this, and we're missing this. With Gigi and Vince coming on like they did, and with everybody, with Tripp and Bain getting better, it's we're pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah. And it's really interesting because they can do it around the peripheral.
Yep.
You bring a guy like Andre Drummond on, you just bring a guy who's a passable center. I think that's doable.
Yeah.
I also think you could possibly go big game fishing. And you could sit there and you could say, hey, we're actually going to make the splash this year and try and make something happen. Which I'm not saying need to do. But what's exciting is there's a lot of options. And so we're going to have some months to kind of chill out. I know personally, all of this gear that I have set up for this, believe it or not, despite my fuzzy video tonight, we actually do put some effort into this show every once in a while. So I'm excited to put that away for a little bit, sort of refresh, regroup, and then come back for all those moves. But last thing, Luke, I want to hear about daily grind. So daily grind, you're still going to be doing it even though the season's wrapping up? So tell me
goal
a
is, so the goal is going to keep doing it through the I've been trying to introduce more non-basketball related stuff just because, I mean, there's non-basketball stuff in everyone's life. And otherwise, how the heck are you going to keep a show going on every day? I don't know. It's tough. And if there's a slot that I don't have to worry about on any given day because it's fixed, it's awesome. And I'm trying to I want the summer to be fun. I wanted all this to be fun because most summers as a basketball fan isn't fun because we just worry about our team and we worry about how they're going to be. And we search for news like crack addicts on the internet. And it's, you're just like, what happened in the Grizzlies? And it's just, I hope this is something that will let people have fun just to maintain them through the end of the season. I probably will take like a month off, maybe. Maybe. Nah, I don't do anything, but we're just going to have like fun. Like I need to have you on because there's a Star Wars themed game.
Yeah, there we go. I actually have been, you and me were texting, you just texted me about Krennic yesterday, and I was like, Krennic man's watching Rogue One.
Dude, don't get me started on Krennic, man. That movie is awesome, and Krennic is just a little turd. He's like,
oh, you would love this. I've had a bunch of flights lately, right? And so on my flight to Dallas, I watched A New Hope. On my flight back from Dallas, I watched The Empire Strikes Back. On my flight to Denver, I watched the first half of Return of the Jedi. And on this flight back from Denver, I finished it. It was a great Star Wars 2 weeks for me. So I love it. Oh, it was pretty awesome. And there was minimal bumps. And I think those things are flying metal death cages. So I was very excited. It was not turbulent.
Science.
Yeah, exactly. That's science for you. But we'll be back. I'll make sure I make it on the show. And are you doing it truly every day still? Is there just a few
Monday? And we're going to be I'm going to have set guests every like days of the week. I know Rusty of the $2 Sports Show is going to be with me every Tuesday. Drew's going to Uncle Buck's going to be with me, I think, every Monday. I'm working on just calling on Fridays, maybe calling my random friends and seeing who picks up and see if they want to hang out with us on Fridays. It's just you're going to be able to count on like me and one other person being there every single day.
Yeah. I'm trying to open up a Wednesday. I know we talked about that. I'm trying to make it happen. Unfortunately, the same reason I'm missing the game on Sunday. Got a kid on the way, and work actually matters quite a bit.
Children, making a better life for yourself.
I'm a big kid myself, so we're trying to make ends meet at least.
What names do you like?
Oh, do not get into that conversation. I will put nothing into the public sphere on that. Are you kidding me? I'm in so much trouble. I like Bjorn. Bjorn is what I want to go with. And guess what we're not going to go with?
That's the perfect name.
Bjorn. Not an option. Nothing I love is an option.
You like Tom Bombadil as a name?
I do love Tom Bombadil, but there's way too much work for me to be able to get that one across. Anyways, all right, we're going to wrap up the show before we get too much into the nerd weeds. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone in the comment section. We will have another show on Sunday. Daniel will be here. I'm sure we'll have another guest for that. This is my personal last show of the season. Cannot thank you guys enough. This has been, despite the bright spots, despite the fun stuff, an absolute drag of a season. It has been tough to do this night in and night out, and you guys made it completely worth it. So love you all, truly like family at this point. Thank you so much. Can't even express how thankful I've been, and I know Daniel is for you coming in. So make sure to tune in on Sunday, and after that, we'll rest, regroup, come back for an awesome season next year. But for the last time this year from me, until next time, be nice, tell your friends.